Yeah, maybe some pigs in the blanket. What's up, Facebook family? YouTube, Instagram, what's going on? How y'all doing tonight? Listen, this is just like an open forum, open discussion. If you don't know, my name is Marvin Gilliam. And I have the awesome privilege of pastoring a phenomenal church in Church Hill, Richmond, Virginia, the Mount Carmel Baptist Church. And this weekend is our anniversary weekend. This is the weekend where we celebrate and commemorate all the Lord has done over the course of the last year or so since I was officially installed as pastor back in September of 2019, before Corona, when the world was saying, when everything was straight, right? So this is just a forum, man, just an open forum, open discussion, man. I figured, it'd be kind of cool just to open it up, have some conversation. So I invite you today, if you are on Instagram, drop some questions in the comments, whatever you want to talk about, whatever questions you might have, whatever you might want to know about, like what it's like pastoring in a pandemic, whatever you want to know about, even just about me in general, maybe some things that you may not have ever known. We want to invite you to share, to come in, to have conversation with us today. We're going to be on here for a little bit. You're probably going to hear my kids in the background. Why? Because I have kids, and I'm not really going to apologize for that. What's up, Kaya? How you doing? Thank you for everybody that's tuning in and joining. But yeah, I got kids, so I'm not really going to apologize for that. They're my kids. The Lord has blessed me with them. First responsibility, for sure. Second responsibility after, of course, marriage, and caring for and being with my wife and nurturing that relationship. But also, got to take care of the little ones. So right now they're quiet because Netflix is on. And actually the littlest one she's with her mom and her grandma. So yeah. This is a good question. Instagram starting it off right. So here's what I'll do. If I get an IG question, I will post it on Facebook just so that you all can know what the question is. So I'm going to type it in the chat. How's the headspace been as a pastor over this year? Cool. I'm going to drop that in the chat. So it'll pop up and we'll share it as well. So how's the headspace been as a pastor over the years? This is a question from IG from at It's Just Kashawn. I think I know that guy. I think he's my cousin. Wow. So yeah, so just to kind of give you a story of the journey, I started pastoring at Mount Carmel Baptist Church, at the Mount Carmel Baptist Church on March 31st, 2019. So really it's been more like 18 months that I've been at the church. So in the church we have a process, kind of like it's all, how you go start a job, you got like the probationary period, where they expect you to show up on time, do all of the things, whatever the case is. So it's similar to that, where we had this kind of period between March and September. And so September is like the official, all right, yeah, you in here, we're not trying to get rid of you, we're trying to make this thing work, right? And so that's kind of how it works out. So over the course of the last year, 18 months, man, it's been so many transitions. And I think that's just really has been the most challenging space for me, is like managing all the transitions. So when I started pastoring, I was teaching as well, Richmond Public Schools. And then, you know it, brother. Got to say the. But when I started teaching, I was teaching when I started pastoring at the Mount Carmel Baptist Church. I was also teaching in Richmond Public Schools. And so I decided at the end of that school year to not go back. Boom. That's a transition right there. And there were a lot of things that kind of added up to that decision. And in retrospect, man, God bless the teachers this year. And last year they had to deal with all they had to deal with the virus and school shutting down and virtual learning and stuff. We've been praying for you all. But as for me, I'm grateful. Perhaps it was the Holy Spirit leading me to say, it's time to make a move, right? So that was a big transition right there for us, and then you just have a transition of from I've been a person who has had more than one job for the majority of my adult life. So I had that transition. So this was the first time in 20 years that I only had one job, but this with pastoring was all I was doing. And it was really cool. Like, it was cool in some regards, but it was also like a struggle because you have to figure out now, how do I navigate and manage this time now that I'm in control of it? And time management is key when you're talking about getting things done. And I had developed rhythms in my first pastorate and previously that were about me having to work and pastor at the same time. So now, you're right, Red Dad. That was the Holy Ghost. So now I'm in a space where like I have to make the decisions on what my days look like. And I'll be honest with y'all, like as much and as glamorous as that seems, man, that can be very challenging. Because because of course there's some things that I don't have control over. Like, my kids going to daycare, they got to get picked up by a certain time, right? Or their appointments and things of that nature that I have to be in control over. Sorry, my kids going crazy. Hey, Marvin and Jay, y'all good? Listen, no fighting over the remote, please. I'm about to bring him on camera. But so that was one transition, trying to figure out like how to manage like my time. Like that's a huge transition right there, right? And so trying to get into a rhythm with that, and then then we had installation coming, so we're moving in that direction. And everything's good. You're finding a rhythm, you're finding a pace, right? And then all of a sudden we come around and it's February 2020 rather, and you hear these rumblings about this virus and and what's going on with that. And then by the middle of March, the NBA shut down and you're taking it serious. It's like, hold up, things are really shifting in a really weird and a really like powerful way. And it's interesting because I've had some conversations with some people late 2019 about just like feeling like something was about to move or something was about to change. And I thought for me, it was like the pastoring thing. But I also, hey, Reverend Juanita, but I also still felt that shifting like kind of energy, right? And so March comes, here's the pandemic, and here we are. Something we could have never anticipated, but I wholeheartedly believe that that I was placed in this position, that I was called to this church in this season at this time for this reason. You know what I'm saying? Just to be able to help navigate the waters through this virtual space and to be able to provide some leadership in that regard. Because there are things that I hadn't done in years that I had to pick back up. When I was teaching at Georgia with my first 2 or 3 years teaching there, we would have programs and concerts, and I would take those concerts. We would video record them. I would take the recordings, turn them into like little like movies and stuff like that. It was fun for me. I really enjoyed doing it. Give it to the administrators. Say like, this is what we doing out here, showing off the kids singing and dancing and playing and all of that good stuff. And now here I am at 12 years later. Now here I am in the space of having to, kind of help manage the editing and help do some of the work around kind of this production process for worship. So like the headspace has been crazy because what's wrong, Jay? You hungry? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're gonna fix you something to eat. We're gonna fix you something to eat in a second, okay? All right. Give me a couple minutes and I'm gonna move all of this stuff and we're gonna eat and we're gonna fix you something to eat, okay? All right. All right, Jay hungry, y'all. So like the headspace has just been like constantly trying to shift, and even over the last 6 months, it's been like, we started out live recording. We was live on Sunday. I had a musician come in. I was singing everything. It was leading the worship. It was cool. The first Sunday that we went live, March 22nd, our stream dropped. I was preaching after the first point. The stream dropped out. And so I'm going hard in the sanctuary. I'm feeling good. I'm like, yes, we made it through our first Sunday. And I'm getting all of these text messages. I got all these text messages on my phone. What happened to the stream? Where did the stream go? Now, it wasn't our fault. Facebook, not handling what we had. All of the churches shifting to online worship. But we had to make some quick decisions then. Like, are we going to continue to try to live stream, or are we just going to pre-record? And so that's what we've been doing since the 5th Sunday in March. We've been pre-recording our worship each week, and then taking the time to edit, put together what we believe is quality, quality production, quality recording that we can share with our church members that tries to feel as authentic as possible. And so y'all hear my boy. I gotta go get him something to eat, y'all. All right, so y'all go travel with me. Y'all can get a house tour. So that's the headspace, man. Just trying to work all of those things out, trying to manage all of those different things. All right. So look, here's the house, right? Here's a quick house tour, right? Jameson. All right. So this is like, we're in virtual world, right? So this is virtual classroom. This is the classroom area. Hey, First Lady. So this is like virtual classroom for our kids. You see sight words on the wall. So we have 3 children, as many of you know. Our children are 5. Marvin is 5. Marvin the third is 5. Jameson is 4, and Layla is 2. And they are all special children. They are all special in their own way. They all are interesting people. But no, they're really good kids and smart kids. Jameson, y'all hear him in the background. So y'all get a picture into the craziness of our household, right? Instagram, y'all traveling with me too, okay? We'll try to get the kiddos something to eat. So now we're in the kitchen. Sorry, IG. Get this straight. And I'll be completely honest with y'all. This is not going the way I planned it. But it also is a symbol of kind of what we've been dealing with over the course of this last year. So we're in the kitchen right there behind us right there. And then I want to show y'all something really dope. My wife hopped on here, and I just want to share this with y'all about my wife. Yeah, my wife is a phenomenal artist. And yes, I'm putting you on blast, so don't get mad, Jen. She's a phenomenal artist. Phenomenal artist is all I say. And I'll let y'all see some stuff. So look at this. Look behind me. Y'all see that art on the wall? You see that? Jen, my wonderful wife did that. Did mommy do that, boys? Mommy made those pictures on the wall? Yeah. She did? Yeah. And hey, James. Look.
Just going to hide.
Look at this. All right, Jay, get off your brother, man.
I'm going to hide.
Jay, get off of your brother. All right. So, yeah, Jennifer is an incredible artist, y'all. She's an incredible artist. Instagram, I'm sorry, I let y'all miss that. Hey, we're gonna get them straight. We're gonna get them straight, Banks. But yeah, this is IG. I'm gonna show y'all the art on Instagram. So that's Jen's work right here. Man, she's really good at this thing.
No, I said I was watching something else.
We're fighting over Netflix. All right, so any questions y'all got? I'm just sharing. I'm gonna go find something for my hungry guy to eat. Yo, Banks, she be killing it, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, she's really good. And like most of the art that we have in our house is work that she's done. Most of the art that we generally have hanging up in our house is work that she's done. There's another piece that I'll show y'all as well. I just like bragging on my wife, man, because she's pretty dope. This piece that's right here over the door, she did that too. If y'all see that. Right. Yeah. So yeah, my wife's an abstract artist. It's her hidden talent. So y'all go ahead and blow up her inbox. And be like, can you do a piece for me? Can you do a piece for my house? Blow up her inbox so that she and maybe we give her a little push out here. What's up, Dre? What's up, Dre? Hey, mama, I see my mama on here. Reverend Juanita, Sister Patricia Tate Jackson. Word, this is what's up. Yeah, man. Oh, and just so y'all know, so my oldest son is named after me. My oldest son looks like me. Like if you saw a picture of us, matter of fact, if you go on my Facebook page, you can see a picture of us on my IG page. You can see a picture that we did on our that of my son on his first day of school, and then me on my first day of school, like of kindergarten. Well, that's a good question, Jen. Yeah, so we look alike in everything, but Marvin is Jennifer wrapped in Marvin's flesh. Like, it's the craziest thing. Like, he is so much like his mother, personality-wise and interest-wise. His favorite class in school right now is art. He loves to draw and, like, put stuff together and, like, make little artistic stuff. He is incredible. So we're excited. We're excited. All right. So, we got some questions popping in here. Okay, here we go. Y'all making it hard now. Let's go. Favorite things to do other than pastor the crew. Favorite things to do other than pastor the crew. Okay, so I really like wrestling in the floor with kids. And I'm about to do it real quick right now because they won't sit down. Hey, Marvin and Jay. As many of y'all know, I have a music background. I studied music in college. I studied music in college. Got a Bachelor of Arts in Music, vocal music from Virginia State. And so I really enjoy music. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell y'all something about this music journey. I kind of fell out of love with music a little bit when I was teaching. And I think it was because I was teaching, right? Like, I was having to, like, break it down and deal with children that weren't necessarily always as interested in music as I was. So I kind of, like, fell out of love with actually, like, doing it, but haven't been away from, like, singing and from, like, singing a lot. And Marvin, Jay, Marvin, sit down. Can you give him the remote, please? All right. Bring me the remote. Thank you. I got the remote.
I need to put it all the way up there.
I have it. I'll hold on to it, okay? Go sit down. So yeah, I like music, man. I really like music. Actually, I've been a couple of things. One, in October, I will be on a thing called Who's Got Next at my home church in Union Branch. Yes. Let's not do that. Y'all get to see me parent too in real time. I'm gonna try to be subdued though. But I will be on this thing called Who's Got Next at my home church, Union Branch Baptist Church in Chesterfield, the church where I grew up. And so I'll be singing like 5 songs, whatever. That's the end of October. Jen, I thought I was gonna be good, but they wide open. And then but earlier this year, back in July, a friend of mine called me, former colleague, and I used to work with the ministry at 6 Mile Zion, Drew Miles, a phenomenal musician. He called me and was like, hey, I want you to do some background vocals for me when I'm doing this thing called Tip Jar RVA. So I was like, cool, So I got on stage and I just was in the midst of live music and singing and doing all of this stuff. That was like a phenomenal moment, a phenomenal, incredible moment for me. Like, and I got to sing a little bit of what's going on. as a part of what what Drew was doing. So if y'all go back and check that out, Tip Jar RVA, look up Drew Miles, man. It's a phenomenal. Like, he's got some really great music. I just did some oohs and ahs on the program. So yeah, I like music. I like sports. I'm a sports fan. I'm a LeBron fan. I'm a Green Bay Packer fan. Don't really have a baseball team like that. I like hanging out with family. I really like playing spades. I learned how to play spades. I have a minor in spades from Virginia State University. And so, so that's that's a lot of the things. My favorite things I like to do. I like to be around people. I'm an extrovert, so I like to be around people. So like, the pandemic has been challenging because I've been around. I love being around my family, my immediate family, but also I like to kind of change up the energy sometimes as well. So those are some of the favorite things that I like to do. Let's see. I see. Let me answer Jen's question, and I'm gonna get to my LB's question. Jamal Banks, he asked me a question in the Instagram chat. So he said, Jen asked, "What do you think your biggest strength is in this season?" Whew, no, that's a good question. That's a good question. A lot of I think. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm learning that visioning and dreaming is like something that I don't know if I'll call it a strength, but I know that that's something that I have to lean into a lot more. I'm probably not the best at like execution. That's probably like a weaker point, but I know visioning and like kind of seeing the possibility of what can be is something that I think has really helped me in this season. And here's how I know that. The first meeting we had with our leadership, when we were deciding whether or not we were going to have worship on the third Sunday of March, after the NBA canceled, the NBA canceled. I literally the next day was like, we need to get the leaders together, and we need to have a discussion about what we're going to do and how we're going to move forward and how we're going to make this a safe space where people can be healthy. And so in that meeting, one of the first things that I said was, whatever you thought TMCBC was over the last 133 years, put that to the back of your mind, because this is gonna be a completely new season. Like, even when I saw when the NBA shut down, it opened my eyes, because I was already kind of feeling it, but it opened my eyes to say, like, we have to reimagine what church looks like. And so I think like that process of like trying to see what will be, thinking of vision, creating vision, dreaming, sharing dreams in that way. I think that has kind of been like my biggest strength in this season. I think that's really helped me, because it's helped me in terms of preaching. It's helped me in terms of thinking about how we do worship. Like, I'm always tinkering, and my thought is not. My thought, even for our worship service and how we curate that, and how we curate Wednesday nights, and how we're going to continue to curate Christian education things, is around the whole idea of like the person that is not connected to a church, right? The person that's scrolling on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and who says, "Oh, I see Marvin got his thing up," or "I see somebody from the church has their thing up." And what's going to make them stay? What's going to make them continue to tune in and say, "I want to stay and watch this whole thing," and I want to come back and continue to be involved? Like, that's what I've been kind of thinking. So like kind of thinking about those big questions and kind of leading from a place of vision has been good. And like I said, the execution part I wouldn't consider that a strength for me. I think my wife told me earlier today, sometimes I make things harder for myself than I need to. And she's absolutely right. I mean, she told me, and I just kind of looked at her, but I looked at her because I knew she was right. Because part of my biggest strength, I think my biggest strength is having a vision for how it's done. But I think that something that goes alongside that in terms of a weakness is I'll take the onus on making it happen sometimes without doing the best job of involving other people. And so one thing that I know I have to work on is clearly communicating kind of the vision that I have so that other people can run with it that are way better at me than it. So yeah, and trust me, this season is teaching me that left, right, upside down, everywhere. So I was asked this question on Instagram. It said, what routine do you have to encourage the kids' creativity? So in terms of encouraging the kids' creativity, it's so sometimes it's just a matter of letting them play. That's been a big thing. Like I've had moments where I've tried to like force things on them, like force basketball or whatever, and like they have their own process. They're individuals, recognizing that they're gonna have things that they're like, and that they need to try as many things as possible. So sometimes it's just kind of letting them play and asking them questions, and allowing them to ask me questions. To encourage them to continue to be curious and to be creative in that way. And celebrating what they do create. Like Marvin's always drawing something. When he draws something and creates something, like we celebrate. We might not know what it is. It might look crazy. He made this thing the other week and cut something and put something in the shape and it didn't look appropriate, but he didn't know that. He was just trying to make his picture. And so instead of, not allowing ourselves to get in the way of what, they're learning and what they're experiencing. In terms of routine, we tried, man, over the course of having the kids at home with us. We've really tried, and I say Jiz done a much better job of this than me because she's more the artsy person, but they've done all kind of craft projects. They made a volcano. They made they made all kind of stuff. I made like a little tornado thing with the 2 soda bottles or whatever. But we just encourage them, like, y'all want to draw, you want paper, here, just make something. The one thing that I've done with my oldest son, Jameson didn't really take to it as well, but Marvin really enjoyed it, and that was Legos. I love Legos. And so he got a Lego set. And so I taught him how to walk through the pages to put something together, just to teach him, process and thinking through and finding the pieces and all of that. I think I might try again with Jameson soon, just because I think he'll take to it now. He was a little young at that point too. So I think, yeah. So like Legos with Marvin, like, so now he's creating his own stuff. He was making like a whole little house in a little community the other day. With his Legos. So so that's kind of how we roll with that piece. That's how we roll. My mama got jokes. She says I'm my father's son. yeah, that's my guy. Yeah. Let me jump back up. Let's see. I saw a couple other questions. Outside of the pandemic, what has been the most challenging aspect of this season of ministry? I think it is the most challenging aspect of this season of ministry outside of the pandemic. So all I think about is a pandemic. I think one of the things that's challenging has been making sure that you're not compromising. Making sure that you're not compromising, like ministry wise, like making sure that you're doing ministry with integrity, right? I think that's always a challenge because there is a temptation, I think, for pastors. Mark, Jay, go. Close the door. Close the door, son. Hold on a second.
You can watch something else if you want to. Okay.
Sorry. Sons don't know how to close doors yet. So trying to maintain integrity in ministry. It's very easy. What you need, Marv? It's very easy to fall into the trap of feeling like, I have to preach what people want to hear in order. What is that? Oh, go ahead. In order for people in order for people to give or for people to join or whatever the case is. And I think people have this misconception about ministry that like everybody is rich, that everybody got money. Like, and the reality is, if you do the numbers, like, pastors really not making a whole lot of money out here, and they're not. And most pastors aren't in it for the financial aspects. They're not trying to manipulate people in that way. They're in it because they care. They believe in what they are preaching and saying. They believe that there's power in the gospel. They believe that there's power in Jesus to transform lives. And they believe that they've been called to lead people into relationship with Jesus Christ and to lead communities and change and transformation in that way as well. So, I think that's been a consistent challenge because I have encountered people in ministry, whether it's people that I've served in church or they're served under my leadership or served with pastors or other pastors. That's like, man, just say this, just get them to do this, just get them to shout, and they're gonna give and this, that, and the third, and all these expectations. When like that's not really what it's about for me. That's not what I want to do. My fourth grade teacher, she said, Miss Evelyn Tucker, is the last time I got straight A's in a grade level. But Miss Tucker said she always thought that I was going to be a doctor. This was like maybe 5 years ago. She said, I always thought that you were going to be a doctor. She's like, and I was thinking a medical doctor, but I was right though. You are a doctor. You become a doctor for people's souls. And so that like made me feel good and reminded me like, I'm not in this for a like a material financial gain. All that stuff is cool. Like, listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't want to be wealthy or well off, but I also recognize that there's work and the things that need to be done in order to make that happen. I think that's probably like just always maintaining your integrity regardless of the circumstance, regardless of the ministry season, because this season even is a time when one's integrity could very well be challenged. Really, in large part, I think we're discovering a lot of folks that may have been in it for the wrong reasons, or may not have, been pastoring for the reality of they want to make people's lives better. Because that kind of is what drives me. So being true to that central purpose is what can it's easy. It's not easy. It can be a challenge. Particularly when you see other people, climbing and getting better. You're like, man, why it ain't happening for me? But I gotta always stay true to who I know the Lord has created me to be, so that we can, continue to move forward. Banks got a good question. How has the political atmosphere? Let me do this. How has the political atmosphere influence your approach to preaching? Hey y'all. Guess who's Bizak?
Hi.
All right, family's back.
What did you buy?
All right, so how has the political atmosphere influenced your approach to preaching? Man, this is a great question. Because again, this is another area where like your integrity can be challenged in regards to this. So, in many ways, as an African American preacher, in that preaching tradition, politics is always a part of what we do. In terms of social justice and speaking up for the least, the lost, the left out, looked over. Like I believe fundamentally that's central to the gospel. So when we read the Old Testament and we read the rebukes of the prophets on Israel, it's a lot of the rebukes have to do with how you're treating those who can't take care of themselves. And Jesus is the same way. In Matthew 25, that's how people are. He says, this is how you'll be judged, how you use your talents, how you use your time, how you manage your time, your resource, your ability. Also, how you manage that in terms of how you help other people who can't help themselves. So that's Matthew 25, right? So in light of that, and to go back, Luke 4, where Jesus quotes Isaiah, it's all political. So these are all of the things that kind of ground, I think, African-American preaching tradition in many ways. And so when I think about all of the things that are happening politically, I believe that the preacher got to speak to them. So I do the best I can to speak to them in a way that resonates with me. I think June and July were May. Matter of fact, May and June into July. Man, those were really intense months for like sermon preparation because there was a lot going on. You had info about Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery come out, and then you had George Floyd happen. On top of all of the other political stuff that's going on, with our current president, I'll be respectful, but with our current occupant of the White House, and the things that he shares. And says, I think one of the big things that we ought to be encouraged to do as preachers is to, also encourage our people to participate in the process as well. But yeah, all of those things were like the shifts that we saw happen in the end of May into June. I think a lot of my preaching was around that. We were studying in Acts and preaching through Acts, through the first part of Acts, and a lot of what we shared in that time had to do with, listen, like, this is what it is. So, in response to what we saw happening in the news and what we see happening in the political world. So even now, I won't necessarily, now I will, if you come to me on the side as Marvin and endorse a candidate and ask me about, who I'm voting for, whatever, I don't mind telling you. I don't mind having those discussions and talking about politics and talking about what's happening. Because I believe that the world, that the church, the kingdom, Christians, we ought to have influence in those things. So, so that's what I preach towards. And a lot of it is, I think a lot of politics, we think about how like charged it is racially, how charged it is in partisanship, but really a lot of politics is right here at home. A lot of politics is like what's happening right in your own neighborhood, in your own city, in your own county. Are you engaged with that stuff? Because those are the things that have most impact on your life. And so that's what we've been, trying to encourage people to do, is to be involved in that way. So yeah, it definitely influences what we say. Because when you see things that are unjust happening, part of the job of the pastor is to be priest, is to be shepherd, and is to be prophet. The role of the prophet is to cry loud and spare none, to tell the truth regardless of what happens. And I think that's what we have to do. So we have to call it out when we see it. So, and that's in preaching, that's in, the public square as well. And many of my mentors and preachers that I look up to, they've done that in amazing ways. Pastor Tyrone Nelson, who serves on the board of supervisors here in Verona, man, like, part of what he was doing in ministry attracted me to even want to like connect with him, because I saw them 10, 15 years ago, just doing like some incredible things. And I was like, that's what the church needs to be doing. And so his dual role as public servant and as preacher, pastor, prophet in that way, like has really inspired and encouraged me. Hey Jen, do you have your thing?
I heard hey Jen.
Do you have your charger?
Yes.
Okay. Can you talk to them for a second? I'll be right back, y'all. I gotta take a quick break. Just say hi to them.
Hi, people. How's everyone doing? He's got a setup here, so I'm just looking around. This is not a Lady J Q&A. Yes, I can open this. You guys get to see Miss Layla. Say hi. You gonna say hi? Oh, why are you so stinking cute and so sweet? Oh, look, you see yourself on different. Yeah. So this is what Layla calls her baby.
No.
They're kind of like the little nesting dolls.
Don't they come from Russia?
No. I'll do that.
It's Vladimir Putin.
Don't start.
Back and
Yeah. So yeah. Hope everyone's doing well. I know I don't stay on social media as much as I used to, as you can probably, you heard why with the boys and you see why with the girls. So, but hope y'all are doing well. So I came back. I skipped my trip. I was like, I got to turn around.
Why you scared?
No, I was like, not in this house.
We'd have been fine.
So I'll go in the morning.
They were learning to be creative.
Okay.
They were learning to be creative. That's all. Yeah, good stuff, man. Let's see. Let me jump back up really quick as I saw a couple of other questions.
Oh, you said charge.
Who is the toughest group to reach as a pastor and a minister? Man, that is okay. So I think every group has its challenges. And some of it isn't even because of that group. Some of it is like generational. Oh, you're gonna stick it right in here.
I just
Okay. Follow directions. Some of it is like generational. So I think, like many of our older generation grew up in a time where like church was like central to everything. I got a thing right here.
Okay. No, it's not gonna work.
Where church is central to everything, like, and I think one of the biggest challenges is that generation is going to be faithful, and people who have grown up in that way are going to be faithful. You can count on them to be there. I think it did something. Yeah, it's charging.
Okay.
I think young adults can be challenging, just because there's a lot of life transition happening, and so you have to navigate that. And I think too, the way the church deals with young adults can be problematic. So for instance, young adults, millennials, and after, we have a whole lot of questions about how things are, right? About why we believe this, why we believe that. And really the questions aren't a sign of disrespect. The questions are a sign of searching and seeking for answers. It's a sign that we want to know, why this is this way. I'm one, I think I've always been one that's had a little bit of that like rebellious streak in me a little bit. Like, the first Sunday. So this is just a sign, right? So I was like a little relaxed for service, but I was like, all right, first Sunday, I'm gonna be in the suit, I'm gonna be in the robe and everything. First Sunday in April, because it's church, right? First Sunday, communion, that's what you do. I put on the suit, preaching the suit, wasn't comfortable, had the robe on, was just like, man, by the end of that service, and some of the folks that were there singing that day, they'll tell you, I was just like, nah, not doing that anymore. I was just like, it was just uncomfortable. That's not to say that I don't like suits or I don't like robes or anything of that nature, because my robe is dope. I really like my robe. It's really nice. But if you go through and watch our videos over worship services over the last 6 months, you'll see. I went the month of June. I think I went the month of June into July with like t-shirts. Most of them had a message to them, but I think I have some of that in me, and understanding that some of the systems that have been created are made to be questioned. So I think that's what makes young adults challenging, is just like the dynamics of life that are happening. Young adults is like, and two, I think young adults are like younger, like they're like 25. Like, I feel like once you got a mortgage and a house and, once you pass 30, like, I don't really feel like you're a young adult no more. But I feel like, you can't be a young adult and then you have a child that's also a young adult. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it works like that. I don't necessarily consider myself a young adult at this point in time. I'm just an adult. I'm an adult that's living life with 3 kids, with a wife, trying to figure out how to do this thing, right? I think the most challenging group, and I'm not trying to find the silver bullet or the magic potion or the secret solution. I'm just trying to find a way to make it work. I think one of the most challenging groups is men. Because I think a lot of church has been emotional. And I think for men that can sometimes put us in an uncomfortable space. And men are attracted to mission. Like, men want to be a part of something that is accomplishing something. That's how we're built with fixers, right? So what is the big problem that we're trying to fix? And so, men is also been a challenge. I mean, I hope preaching wise, young people can be challenging, a little bit more challenging for me now. Just because I'm not in the space with them as often. When I was teaching and preaching, man, I felt like I could, kind of connect and have a conversation with them. But young people can be a little bit more of a challenge, and that's crazy to say because 18 months ago I was in the classroom. So, but the culture changes so quickly. So, I think those are probably the toughest groups. So we're still, praying, trying to think about ways that we can go there, like we can get there, get connected, with those particular groups of people. Because everybody needs to see them. And sometimes it ain't about me connecting. Sometimes it's about finding the person that can connect and supporting them. So yeah, I hope that answered that question for you. Brandon Clark, my man. What's up, man? Glad you hopped on here. I know I'm late with some of these questions because it's been a minute. No, Dre, we don't do the Washington football team. We don't do that over here. Hey, Giovanni, listen. I know what church folks say about playing cards, but I feel like the church should sponsor a space tournament. Man, I feel like church is sponsoring space tournament. Nah, y'all tell me. Oh man, I appreciate that. Man. Appreciate that so much. Have I always been a visionary? I don't know. Have I always been a visionary? I don't know. Maybe I don't. I just feel like I've.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Are you answering my question?
What was the question? Have you always been a visionary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jennifer said yes. I mean, she been the closest to me for the last 11 years, so she would know. Yeah, I guess that's the answer.
I mean, I think other people discover that about you before you see it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I just try to see stuff and make it happen, or I see opportunity. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest impediments for me is, and I just read a book on it. I'm gonna tell you about that in a second. But one of the biggest impediments is like having a thought, of having a vision, and feeling and almost knowing that it will work and knowing that it's needed, and then not following through for fear that it will fail. And some of that is for fear that it will fail, or fear that I'm not adequate enough to make it work. This is real. This is like counseling right now. This is like a real transparent moment. I read this book. If y'all follow Kevin on Stage, y'all ought to check out Kevin on Stage out. They've been talking about it the last couple of weeks on their podcast called The Love Hour. But podcasting is something else I like. YouTube and podcasting. I like those things.
Yeah, I feel like his wife.
Well, she's.
Hey, you can't say that for everybody.
I do like my wife. Giovanni asked what the activities I like to do outside of like when I'm not with the pastor crew, and I was trying to keep it PG.
So we got 3 kids.
I like to do what married people do, or people with children. Yeah. So this book called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks talks about the upper limit problem, how we psych ourselves out of problems, if y'all ever had that feeling like, things are going good and then something happens and you feel like something's about to go wrong, or the other shoe is about to drop, like, man, check that book out. Just check that book out. I'm telling you, I need to listen to it again because it like takes the limits off, like for real. So so my wife says I've always been a visionary. I just gotta get some people to run with it for me. What can we look for from Pastor Marvin L. Gilliam Jr. in the future? I don't know. I got a couple of cool things happening. I don't want to talk about them yet, just because. Just because I just want to do things in decency and in order. But man, I really would like to. It's a number of things that I'd like to do. I'd like to record an album. I've been thinking about. My mom would love to hear this. I've been thinking about doing a recital of classical music because that's what I did in college. So I've been thinking about doing a classical music recital. Maybe even singing like my senior recital again. 15 years later. It'll be more than that when I do it, but just doing that program again. I don't know. I love to write books. My wife and I have been working on putting together some like marriage counseling stuff that we may be able to put in print. Hope maybe sometime early 2021. That could be helpful as well. So who knows where that leads. I really I like this media production stuff. Like that's something I'm really growing an affinity towards. So man, like I can't even give you like one answer. I do know, I do want to go back to school for a doctoral program. So that's something that we're looking at as well. But just kind of look for us to continue to try to make waves and do some great things in the community where we serve. Because what's up, T-Hunt, my man? Let's see.
T-Hunt, our boys want to come see you.
T-Hunt, they do?
They want to see Maya. Well, specifically Layla.
Oh, T-Hunt, we gotta. When you grilling again, T-Hunt, put something in the chat. Let us know. Hey, T.I., we got to talk about that. I'm looking at a program right now. I know we were talking about A&T, T.I., for that organizational leadership, but it's another program they call my eye. I'm going to text you about that, Joy. How do you manage to stay so upbeat and positive when there's so much chaos all around you? You have an amazing ability to smile in spite of all of the pandemic. Listen, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm going to keep it stacked. There's a poem by Paul Laurence Dunbar that starts out, "We wear the mask that grins and lies." Sometimes I'll be faking it to make it. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because I've had some really low moments over the last 6 months, and I think it's okay, and I think it's necessary for us to say that, particularly as pastoral leaders. Why? Because people think that this stuff doesn't impact us or affect us, and it absolutely does. If y'all saw my Facebook post a couple of days ago, I came across a situation. I've not talked a whole lot about all of the shootings and justice and all of that stuff that's happened. I've done that purposefully because it's like, what more can you say? What more can you say? It's like, what more can you say about that? But also, when you see it happen in front of you, and like if I could describe to y'all the fear that I saw in this brother's eyes the other night, I think it's Wednesday night, and like it rocked me to my core. I was scared for him and with him, and I almost broke down crying in Wawa because of what I saw. Because I had to stand there with my phone for 10 minutes recording just to make sure this brother got out of there and he was good. That nothing happened. Even right now, my eyes are welling up thinking about it. So I've had some rough days. I've had some really rough days, and when it just seems like everything is just way too much. And I say that just to let you know, like, I'm smiling, but sometimes I'm smiling, but sometimes behind that thing, like I'm really struggling. But I also know that it's important for me to not to fake it till I make it. But it's also important for me to, as much as I can, lean into the positive space, because we are not people who are hopeless. And so, I don't believe in the hopelessness that exists. So I may have a moment of hopelessness. I may have a moment of of deep depression and deep just hurt and pain. But it passes because I'm able to bring myself to the place, where I recognize how I'm founded, and I'm building my life on the solid rock, and I'm trusting the Lord, to continue to guide us, and that everything isn't bad. That even though the pandemic is a problem, it also is giving birth to new opportunity. And I think that's what we have to see is like, and ask the question, like, what is God up to? What is the new thing that God is trying to do in the world? What is the new thing that God is trying to do in our lives in this season? Like, I think that's what we gotta lean into. So, has collaborating with other pastors been during this period? It's been okay. I wish, that I do wish I had some more interaction with other pastors, and some of that's on me, honestly. It's having to be in it with 3 young kids and everybody at home working, and it's been a lot. So sometimes I just haven't had the energy at the time to do it in the way that I would like to. But I think it's necessary, though, man. I think it's necessary. And D-Train, man, we started out, we had like a couple of Zoom calls at the beginning of this thing, just trying to check in with everybody. But just as things have gone along, it's just, you just kind of get into your own, your own lane and these new rhythms. And so I do wish it was a time for us to pull back, we could have more collaboration and conversation, because I think we can learn so much from one another. One thing that I haven't felt, though, is I haven't felt the spirit of competition as heavily between pastors. I feel like pastors are willing to help one another, which is great, because we all are on the same team. We're all trying to accomplish the same overall goal. We all have the same overall mission statement. So we just got different approaches to how we do it. So I wish we could do more collaborating, more conversation, more just like, being open book for one another, building those relationships in that way. And I'm sure that the other pastors that probably have been doing it. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. It's just been hard. It's just been hard. It's been hard. It's been, family first, trying to make sure the family good. That's what we do first. So, yeah, man, good question. I appreciate that. Let's go down here. Let me scroll back up. Okay, Layla. Yeah. Oh, that's good. I got 2 good questions right here. Let me knock these 2 out real quick. How do you handle spiritual warfare? Stay dressed up, man. Stay dressed up. Ephesians 6. Put on the full armor. Hey, Instagram, this is about to leave in like 2 minutes. I'm going to end this and I'm going to come. Actually, matter of fact, I'm going to end it now and I'm coming right back. Put on the full armor. What's wrong, Jay? No, I just was going to take this. Oh. Yeah, it's put on the full armor, I mean, it's really a lot of prayer, really a lot of meditation, really a lot of, scripture reading, and really just asking for the sight and the discernment to see what's happening beyond what's happening. As a piece of sermon I preach, this is probably my favorite sermon that I preached in the pandemic. But part of it is about, allowing your ears to be your eyes, allowing your spiritual ears to be your eyes, right? Because so often we get caught up in what we see happening around us, then we're going to be hopeless. But if we are listening and in tune to the Spirit, if we are listening and in tune to the Word of God, and then when our ears are our eyes, then we're able to fight. We're able to stand steady and to know what's going on. That's not to say that we're not going to fall into temptation and fall into situations from time to time, because it's absolutely possible. Absolutely will happen. But yeah. So that's how we And that's how we're doing it. We're trying as much as we can to continue to deepen that relationship and to deepen those abilities. And some of it too is knowing your lane, because not everybody's been gifted with everything. And so you got to know your lane. You got to know your lane. So if everybody ought to be praying, but some people when they pray, they got a special gift of prayer. They have a special gift of faith. They have a special gift, in the spiritual realm. So you got to know who those people are around you and partner and work with them as well. Let's do this one. So because we are in the church, how do you balance Christian and secular music? I listen to music. That's it. I listen to music. I pay attention to how music makes me feel. If I listen to it and feel encouraged or feel better, I listen to it. If I listen to it and I don't feel great, I'm not listening to it. There's music out here that I'm not listening to because it does not make me feel good. So yes, if you check my playlist, I'll be honest with y'all too. Y'all would be like, this ain't no real pastor. I'll be honest with y'all. I mean, I like gospel music and Christian music or whatever, but I don't listen to I'm not listening to a whole lot of it. I mean, I'll be just as soon to go on a Jay-Z record as a Kurt Franklin record. I think the last album that's been in heavy rotation for me right now is the Big Sean joint, Detroit 2. That is a man, because here's the thing, man, like gospel music is inspirational, but some of the music that we label as secular, like rap, hip hop, or whatever, it's like real life stuff. And I think sometimes we need to hear that and be in tune with that and be in touch with that. And there's some good stuff in there that lines right up with scripture. So it's crazy. Chances has some dope stuff. Kendrick, even Jay. Jay's my favorite rapper. But I also listen to Lecrae and I listen to Ricky Dillard. You know what I'm saying? Like my musical palette is wide. So I've kind of left classifying music in that way. Because I listen to jazz, I listen to classical, I listen to not a whole lot of country. Even some of the stuff my kids hear in movies and they like those songs, like, I listen to them with them to make sure it's good. But like some of that music that I'm just like, man, I never thought I'd do a million years I'd be listening to this EDM stuff. But here we are, so yeah, I can help. I can help with that group, bro. Williams are per year all day. P Block per year. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Oh man, the people in the chat say yes, you have always been a visionary. Mm-hmm. The people in the chat said I've always been a visionary.
I told you.
Phil and my mama.
Yeah.
The Big Lead. Yes, it is an excellent book. Boom. Look, man, we at the end of the questions. What y'all doing? What's up? Ain't got no more questions? You got no more questions? Bishop Ezra Tillman. My man. Hey, they were on what was that? Tillman, if you were still on here, man, what's that podcast y'all were on, man? I want to shout y'all out, man. You and your wife. Tillman is at shoot. Don't kill me, Tim. I can't remember that. He's in church in Flint, Michigan, though. Reverend Dr. Tillman, we call him Bishop in our lot carrying cohort. He's been on the ground level of like I don't know. She broke in the house and she just be like here.
That's so wrong. That's so wrong.
That's my wife. That's my woman, as the old man would say. That's my woman. And my two girls right there. My girls. But yeah, Tillman is at I want to say First Trinity Missionary Baptist. Don't quote me. Our America. Our America podcast. That's right. Yeah. I just want to shout him out, man, because he has been on the ground in Flint, still on the ground in Flint, partnering with Jaden. Since Paulette said, hey, Jen, partnering with Jaden Smith and Just Water, trying to get those water filtration things out of this. I just want to shout him out, man, for leading in that area and doing yeoman's work, man, as he's kind of been in the leadership role of those efforts in the Flint, Michigan area. First Trinity, that's right. Out of my mind, man. My mind was going. That's right. First Trinity Missionary Baptist Church. Tillman, Bishop. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm glad he's on here, man, and glad to be connected to him. What is the hardest lesson in ministry and manhood that you had to learn and apply? Ooh. We got to hold. How much time we got? It's all lessons of accountability in both ministry and manhood. It's accountability. It's accountability. That accountability is key. Yeah, it's key on all levels. Like, in fact, I believe. Thanks, man. Thanks, Tillman. Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate you, man. And y'all just had an anniversary too. Tillman, you and your wife, man. Happy anniversary to y'all. Yeah. I do gotta get off here in a second though, because I gotta finish some stuff for tomorrow. But yeah, accountability. I think accountability is what makes boys into men. And you continue to learn those lessons as you get older, and it's what makes pastors and ministry leaders. It's accountability. Because you have to have a level of humility. There has to be a level of maturity. 13, that's what's up, bro. 13, that's good. We rounding the bend to number 10 next year. So it takes a measure of accountability, it takes a measure of humility, it takes maturity, and it takes a knowledge of self, willingness to say, I'm sorry, and I apologize, and I messed up, and to not equate that with your self-worth, but to recognize that, that even the mistakes you make, if appropriately learned from, even the mistakes you make are stepping stones to where you're going. And that's in manhood, that's in ministry. And really, I mean, over the course of the last year, I've had to learn a lot of those lessons in some major ways. So grateful for those. Yeah. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother. Tell me, man. Appreciate you. All right, y'all. It's been fun, man. I like this. Appreciate y'all popping in and out, asking questions and all that good stuff. I should have went back. I think Tion had. I wonder if did I answer this question. Tion had a question on Instagram. I don't know if I answered it or not. But either way, hey, love you too, Phil, man. I owe you a phone call. Please forgive me. I owe you a phone call, man. We gotta link up. What's wrong?
Can I tell you what our children just said?
What?
Jameson said, I guess I'll tell everybody. So Jameson said, Mommy, Layla's apples on her plate are turning brown. I said, are you telling me because you want to eat her apples? He said, no.
Slide over a little bit, block the light with your head. So the people can see. Okay, maybe that's not working. Okay, come on the other shoulder.
So he said, what happens if we eat the brown apples? I said, you turn brown. Well, we're already brown. I said, I know. He said, will we turn darker brown? I'm sorry.
I see my wife doing that. I see my wife doing my children. Got them all confused. All confussed. Got them all confussed. Yeah, Phil, owe you a phone call, bro. We had to make that happen. I'm being accountable. Yeah. But anyway, man, thank y'all for hanging out, man. Listen, tomorrow we have worship at 10. Worship at 10 a.m. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We're not on Instagram yet. Sorry, IG. We're not on Instagram yet. We're on a Zoom conference call, but Facebook, YouTube, that's where the action is. All right. So join us tomorrow. I'm excited. My brother, my oldest friend, that's not related to me by blood, will be preaching for us tomorrow. Pastor Jonathan Chapman of Church on Purpose in Omaha, Nebraska. And yeah, I'm excited, man, to hear his word tomorrow, and just to take moments to reflect. And then at 2:30 tomorrow, we have a drive-by parade at the church. So if you're in the Richmond area, you want to come by and say what's up, a drive-by parade at the church celebrating the first anniversary. Pastor and people, don't feel if you want to bring a gift, cool. But I think in the pandemic, man, a great gift is just being able to see people alive and well. So if you're not in the area, you want to be a blessing, y'all can shoot us a message on our page, some comments or something. If you want to do more than that, and again, this is not begging, just putting it out there. Y'all can hit us in the Cash App. We got 3 kids. They care is real. So yeah. Hey, Tracy. My sister just hopped on Instagram. Tracy is done. We almost somebody get off now. But yeah, so if you want to be a blessing tomorrow, like I said, it's not begging, nothing like that. But we appreciate any acts of kindness, expressions of love on this first anniversary, and certainly we are looking forward to seeing all those who will gather, church family and others who will gather tomorrow at 2:30, 3200 East Broad Street, Richmond, Virginia, 23223, the Church Hill area of Richmond, Virginia, right across from Chimborazo Park. And I'll leave y'all with this fun fact. I've never grown my hair this long. I've never had this much hair on my head in my life. Never. So I'm trying to be unkempt. I got a sponge. I got a curl sponge like the young folks got. What's up? Solo? Nah, you good? You good, Treese? My phone did something. Oh, it's dying. Okay. Well, Instagram just left because my phone died. But anyway, man, thank y'all so much for hanging with us on this great evening. We hope and pray that you'll be well. If you can join us tomorrow, man, that'd be phenomenal. I'm also preaching tomorrow at 10:45. I'm preaching tomorrow at 10:45. Virtual ministry. 10:45 at 6 Mile Zion Baptist Church. So you can check out their YouTube page, SMZBC Worships, as well as 6 Mile Zion Baptist Church, Richmond, Virginia, on Facebook. You can check out those pages, and I'll make sure I share all of that stuff out tomorrow. So you can check out my personal page or the Mount Carmel page, and you'll see all of the info there. All right. Listen, y'all have a great, great night. We're going here and finish up this stuff for tomorrow and get some hang out with the fam for a little bit. And yeah, that's what we'll do. All right, look, y'all have a great night, man. God bless you. Go in peace. We love you. And there's nothing you can do about it.